when we think about combat sports, you know, the main two that we think of are boxing and MMA. And all the time, we've got MMA fighters crossing over into boxing. It never goes well. Okay. The best we got was Francis Ngannou, and he's 0-2. So, you know, great from us there. But today I thought I'd flip the script and I'd talk about how I think certain boxers would do in MMA. Now, I'm going to be completely honest. I'm not the most educated watcher of boxing at all, to be completely honest. I only watch the big fights. And when I say that, the last 3 boxing matches I watched, I think, is Tyson versus Usyk, both of them, and Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. I have very limited knowledge on boxing as a whole, but I watch every single UFC event. I know bits and pieces, okay? If I get things wrong, there's your reason why. But I'm going to try, you know, put my bias aside of being a much bigger MMA fan than I am as a boxer, you know. I think boxing's a great sport. I think the product fucking sucks, but I think the sport itself is great. And I thought I'd, you know, say how I think certain boxers would do in MMA. Now, first of all, we got Tyson Fury, okay? Tyson Fury, I'm going to put in C tier. And I'll explain why. Tyson Fury would beat MMA fighters on the shitty regional scene. Because, I mean, listen, boxing has a pretty low floor. You know, there's guys with like 0-74 records. But, you know, their journeyman's kind of the point. Where there's actual people in MMA who are trying to be successful, who are like 2-7, who are actually trying to win, but just really aren't good enough. And considering he's a heavyweight, the floor of MMA in general is extremely low. But if we put Tyson Fury in Cage Warriors, if we put Tyson Fury in one championship, if we put Tyson Fury in PFL, Bellator, and especially the UFC, I think he's losing to everyone except from bottom of the barrel of those organizations. Listen, Tyson Fury is 6'9". The guy is massive. The guy has insane reach. He has loads of physical advantages. He is a fat fuck. So, you know, let's be honest, heavyweight wrestlers aren't very skilled, and a lot of them just depend on smudging ability and how fat they are. So I do think he would beat bottom of the barrel. But I'm sorry, man. This guy got took down by Darren Till. And if you're an MMA fan, you know that Darren Till's grappling is fucking horrendous. So I don't think Tyson Fury does very well, but I do think he could beat bottom of the barrel. We move on to Canelo, who I'm going to put in C as well. Now, the reason why is I'm actually going to put Canelo in B. The reason why is Canelo is in a much more competitive and better weight class than Tyson Fury. You know, as far as I'm aware, Canelo's around about welterweight, middleweight, something like that. I mean, he fought Floyd, and Floyd fought Conor, and Conor was a featherweight / lightweight, but he's bigger than Floyd though, so I'm imagining he's about welterweight. When it comes to Canelo, he obviously would just outbox. Like, he's gonna outbox everyone. If it's pure boxing, obviously he'd outbox them all. But the guy has 0 grappling ability. He would get leg kicked to fuck. I'm gonna move him down to C. We're getting some switches here. I'm thinking on the fly. I'm gonna move him down to C. I do think he'd beat bottom of the barrel, but he's in a much better weight class than Tyson Fury. So I don't think he'd go very well. I think he'd lose to good fighters in Cage Warriors. I think he'd just lose to good regional fighters, while also being like Tyson Fury, he could definitely beat bottom of the barrel. But 0 wrestling ability that we know of. Next up, we got Deontay Wilder, who I'm actually going to put in B. I think he'd be more successful than Tyson Fury. And the reason why is, yes, Deontay Wilder's legs are made out of paper clips. Yes, he's not a very good boxer. Jesus Christ, the police need to chill. They gotta chill, bro. No one's done shit, bro. Relax. But I don't even know if you can hear that, but Deontay Wilder, yes, his legs are made out of paper clips, but the guy's got insane fucking power. He's gonna fluke like wins in Cage Warriors at heavyweight. God awful division. He has insane reach. He's 6'7". As far as we know, Deontay Wilder has zero, grappling ability. But let's be honest, a lot of heavyweights would like smudge him and try to smudge him. He's got that chance at the start of every single round. I literally think Deontay Wilder would be rebellious to Spain, but maybe a little bit more successful. Just because, rebellious to Spain mainly depends on his kicks, and Deontay depends on punches, and punches in general are just easier to land. So I do think maybe he could be a like real bottom of the barrel, UFC fighter maybe. But I don't think he'd be UFC level. But I do think he could squeak some wins out there. I don't think he'd do very good, but I think he'd do better than Tyson and Canelo, purely off his power. Next up, we got Lomachenko. I'm putting Lomachenko in A. Looking at Lomachenko, by the way, this is all relative to like boxers. Like, if I put you in S, I'm not saying you're going to be a world champion. I'm just saying you'd be very good. Lomachenko does have wrestling experience from young. He can grapple to an extent. Obviously, very accomplished boxer. I'm by the way talking about like prime Lomachenko, which I think was like 2021 time. I'm trying to think when he fought Teofimo Lopez. But obviously Lomachenko, fantastic boxer, would outbox practically anyone, doesn't have legs made out of paper clips. And, the guy can grapple to an extent. So I do think Lomachenko would make it into the UFC if, he decided to venture into that instead of boxing. I do think that he could do good in the likes of Cage Warriors, One Championship. People get it confused. One Championship has good kickboxing. They do not have good MMA, okay? The MMA is not great. I think Lomachenko would be somewhat successful. I think he could make it into the UFC and not be on the verge of getting cut all the time like I think a Deontay Wilder would be. So yeah, I think Lomachenko would do pretty good. Next up, we got Kamaru Usman. Considering he's an MMA fighter, putting him in S. Next up, we got Oleksandr Usyk, who is kind of like he's the main guy right now. He's the main guy. Okay, I'm gonna put him in B. Now, apparently Usyk does have some wrestling training, so I'm gonna assume he's at least competent on that. Which means I'm gonna move him up to A actually, because heavyweight is dog shit. Heavyweight is genuinely dog shit. If he can just defend takedowns and keep on the feet, he's making it to the UFC, and he's probably picking up some wins on there. Okay, now Usyk doesn't have pillow fist, but he doesn't exactly have power. But he's just such a more skilled. So many heavyweights would be so open to getting hit by Usyk. It's unreal. I think he'd do fairly decent. I think he could get UFC and Lomachenko not be on the verge of getting cut. Now, to all boxing fans, I'm sorry about the guy I'm going to include next. You're not going to like this. It's Jake Paul. Jake Paul, man. Where am I putting you, Jake Paul? Jake Paul, I'm putting you in C. I'm putting you in C, okay? I don't think Jake Paul would be UFC level at all. But I do think he could win some fights on the regional scene. I think he was like a decent wrestler in high school, at least competent. And just with how low level MMA can be, the floor of it, he'd pick up some wins. But he won't be UFC level at all. He's nowhere near the boxer of a Tyson or Canelo. I'm actually moving it down. But actually, he does have that wrestling, so it does kind of even it out a little bit for MMA. But Jake Paul's about middleweight, I think. So he's in a somewhat he's in an alright division. He's in a better division than Tyson Fury is. But yeah, I don't think he'd be very successful. But I don't think he'd have a losing record. You know what I'm saying? So next up, the last guy, we got Floyd Mayweather. He ain't putting D a little bro. Okay, I'm talking about prime Mayweather, by the way. I'm not being biased, yes. Because when this guy beat up Conor McGregor back in the day, heartbreaking. Heartbreaking, okay? I don't like Floyd. You beat women. I don't like you. You're getting put in D, kid. Okay? You're getting put in D. You're getting put in D. Get out of here. Floyd has fucking P's for ankles. You know, he has brittle fists. Like literally, like so, like the guy has brittle fists. Like that's why he started focusing a lot more on defense than offense later into his career. With smaller ounce gloves, that is not going to be great. I also just don't like you, so you're getting put in D. But anyway, there's my tier list for boxers. I could do a part 2 at some point in time. Ignore Kamaru Usman at the very top. I could do a part 2. You know, I had quite a heavyweight bias for this list. 3 heavyweights out like the 8 boxers or 7 boxers that I picked. That's literally just because I went with the biggest names. I forgot to include Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford would be an A as well. He has wrestling experience, and yeah, I'd put him in there. So there you go. There's the tier list of boxers. Like, subscribe, do all that. Enjoy yourself, enjoy your day, and in a bit.